Yes, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful day to be at CSL-Tacoma. Thank you all for being here this morning. And good morning. My name is Laura Lee Bentle, and I am your host today. I am also a practitioner here at CSL-Tacoma. Welcome to the Center of Spiritual Living, those in person and those online. Our musicians today include our very own music director, Terry O'Hare. And on clarinet, Benny Yangco.
Excellent. Bravo, bravo.
Oh, we are so blessed. And today, I'm honored to let you know that our guest musician today is our very own, I'm a claimer, Sunny Jo Loudin.
Yeah.
And on audio visual, we have our team up there, Erik Perrohe and Ronald Edens. Our practitioners today are one of my favorites, Suzanne Frazier, and another favorite who's doing high watch is Bev Holland. And today's message will be given by our senior minister, Rev. I'm going to call you Rev Drew Ebersole. Right? Yeah. If you are here for the first time, and we want to thank you for choosing our little community here, and we would like to acknowledge you for being here. If you feel comfortable, please raise your hand. Yay! Welcome. And as I like to say, a lot of times we hear a lot of things, but I hope you feel something today that keeps you coming back. The Center for Spiritual Living is a peaceful, loving, and joyful spiritual community with a shared set of values, principles, and practices. We embody an understanding of our oneness with Source. We are committed to individual transformation and to being a beneficial presence on Mother Earth today. Our vision is to create a world that works for everyone. We help to empower you to bring your dreams of life to come true. We do this together through practicing meditation and prayer, offering a spiritual home, teaching universal spiritual principles, giving consciously, living in the present moment, engaging in a life of service, and providing a pathway to peace of mind. And now it's time for Rev's minister moment.
That's good. All right, good morning. I'm going to yield the book of my minister's moment to Justin, but before we do, everyone who participated in Pride, would you please stand up so we can recognize you right now? Who was there in Pride? Who was there? That is making a world that works for everyone. Justin, would you come up and kind of give a quick little 1-minute recap of our incredible event? And we really want to thank Justin for driving all that. Beautiful job, Justin.
Thank you. Well, before I get started, don't forget we got Hilltop Fair coming up, so be ready for more volunteers. So what I'm most touched by, we had 22 people offer to be there, and 20 were able to make it. That's just a huge number. That's over 20% of the people who have registered themselves as a member here. To me, that was a community declaring that they're going to make themselves available for anybody and everybody. And it's not just about pride. It is about what humanity has the capacity to be able to accept. What's interesting, if you saw the newsletter, we had an amazing looking booth. And no more than 25 feet away were the counter of our teaching, if you would. There were the people up there with the banner saying we're all going to hell, and they had their speaker on, and they were, causing us to damnation. But what was so great about it is that the community, other people were surrounding them and either singing or cheering or chanting or doing something different. But I loved it because I could step back and I see this right there, which for me represented the traumatization of God. Like in my growing up, where I feared or I didn't want to even have conversations like this. And you'd be surprised how many people we actually dealt with that. Well, I would want to playfully call it God trauma. And we were able to present a different message. Many of you had so many conversations with people. And Jack, you have to stand up, my friend. You were alive. I'm going to say you were a fairy, but I mean that in the highest regard, and good. You better. I have never seen somebody get so engaged and be so committed to having a communication with people. Nice. So Jack, thank you. Nice. You're wonderful, all right? But lastly, I also want to thank the board of directors and Reverend Drew for actually getting behind us on this, because it's important. It's important that the organization structure also supports it so that the members can go out there. So thank you to the board. And I'm looking forward to our, being more involved in all community events here. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're all just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. All right. So now, if you'd like to close your eyes and go to that place within where you know the spark of the divine resides at all times, where you can be filled with joy in an instant. That's God. That's God as you. You are the expression of the divine made manifest. How important is that to you? I mean, it's such an amazing thing. And there are so many teachings that deny that says God is out there someplace. God dwells within you. And I know this is true because I see evidence of it everywhere. So just for a moment now, just for a moment or two, I'd like you to, again, close your eyes if you want to, and feel that. Go to your heart center. Put your hand there if it helps. But go to your heart center and let it be flooded with joy. What is it in your life, regardless of circumstance, that makes you feel joy, that bubbles up within you? You can't hold it back. You have to let it out. You have to share that. Most of all, you have to share it with yourself. I had the opportunity in the last week to spend a week on the water in a little kayak. And what a fabulous experience. It allowed me to let go of everything else in my life. Everything. I didn't have to think about a thing except just being in place. And as Drew's talk today is to reframe. It was all about getting back in balance with me. It was just amazing to be on the water and to be silent, to be peaceful, and to know that all around me in this beautiful place there were eagles and otters and starfish, and it was just fabulous. I felt every particle of it. I knew I was it. That just the beautiful starfish I saw at the bottom of the sea, I felt part of that starfish. And so we so infrequently are able to do that for ourselves, to gift ourselves of that. And it doesn't have to be in a kayak. You can go down to the harbor and sit and look at the water. You can sit in your backyard and watch a hummingbird. You can go for a walk and listen to a book on tape, whatever it is that brings you back, reorganizes, reframes, rebalances you. That allows you once again to face whatever it is in your life, a challenge, a victory, whatever it might be. Give yourself that gift this week, even if it's for 10 minutes. Love yourself that much. God loves you so much more. So I just let it all go. I know it's all true. I know that you're all divine, beautiful beings. I'm looking at your beautiful faces. I love you. Each and every one. And I just say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, sweet spirit. And so it is.
Holy water from the heavens pouring down, wash away my sins. Good things come on down. Lord, I know I've done you wrong, so let it rain, rain, rain around me. Mighty river from my maker, cleanse my soul in the water. Ooh, good things come on down. Lord, I know I've done you wrong, so let it rain, rain, rain on me. Ooh, 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 mighty ocean, stranger in my skin, holy rollers, Jesus let me in. Good things come undone. Lord, I know I've done you wrong,
That's a tough act to follow. So I have a couple readings here. When you replace, why is this happening to me, with what is this trying to teach me, everything shifts. Author unknown, but so true. You may not be able to completely stop negative thoughts, but knowing you don't have to give them power is so important.
This is a true story. Lost in Rome, down the streets of cobblestone, the wreckage of my heart has left me alone. And through the door, don't know what's in store. There she lay, the candles lit, beckoning my soul. And how can I let go? I say to thee, I pray to thee, Saint Francesca Clarity, I bow to thee, I vow to give my heart. Oh, if I see in me a way to thee, oh, hail to all transparency. Saint Francesca, guide me in your way. Down in the tomb, a 16th century room, I put my hands upon my heart and pray. I pray the gods for saving me. I pray the angels heavenly. And as the tears fall down my cheeks, I cry. Say to thee, I pray to thee, Saint Francesca Clarity, I bow to thee, I vow to give my heart. Oh, if I see in me the way to thee, oh, hail to all transparency. Saint Francesca, guide me in your way. So pray. bow to thee, and I vow to give my heart. If I see me worthy, while the all transparency, Saint Francesca, God, Saint Francesca, guide me. Saint Francesca, guide me in your Thank you.
Bravo, bravo. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. You know, it's funny, joy can be in exuberance and energy and power, but it can also be in the sweetness of truth in song, truth in instrument, truth in what we experience together. That connects us, that grounds us. That's beautiful. So, how you guys doing this morning? Good. I'm a little bit the opposite end of that. I'm a little exuberant, all right? You're going to feel a little yeah from me, all right? So today, we're going to talk about recognizing, reframing, and remembering. Recognize, reframe, and remember. The quotes are so germane. You cannot stop negative thoughts. They're like waves in the ocean. What you can choose to do is what you want to give power to, what you're going to harness to. We all have thoughts that arise. As I've said before, 60,000 thoughts per day in our mind. Most of them negative, most of them repetitive, where we are now. So that means we have to sort carefully, like mining for gold, right? We sift it through and figure out what we want to let go of and what we can pluck as precious. And that we invest in. But first, we have to recognize what we're actually going through. Well, hold on one second. We're still working on our little kinks here a little bit. The next slide. Yeah, it's like magic. It's true, in my parents' time, they never would have imagined that I could hold the device in my hand and make a slide go somewhere else. It was like unimaginable for them. So recognize. This is so important. This is where mindfulness comes into play so strongly in your life, because most of us have thoughts and we just instantaneously believe them. Brene Brown estimates that about 90% of our immediate assumptions are wrong. 90% of what we think that pops up in our mind is not correct. It's not accurate. So how do we learn to sort through this? Well, I have a story from our meditation retreat yesterday, which perfectly captured this. As we were meditating, somebody was outside in the midst of our quiet, having some sort of episodic event and shouting and yelling during our meditation. After the meditation, three of our participants described what they experienced when that happened. And the first was seeing the emotion rise of a little bit of fear or anxiety around what that was. But because they were in that state of clarity, they were able to watch it arise and allow it to go. Recognize and release. And come and stay in that sacred place of just acknowledging that person was going through difficulty and not having to grab it or own it. And then a peace settled right after that. A peace that was, in her words, transcendent. In the midst of difficulty, we can find transcendent peace. And that is true everywhere you go. Do not think it's circumstantial. It is internal. It is in your heart. Another participant saw that event happen and had a reaction of sympathy, compassion, and offered compassion to that person And after they did it, they experienced transcendent peace. Another person recognized a sort of anxiety in having to deal with people that sometimes have dysfunction or difficulty and being on a high alert. But after that, was able to release it and experienced transcendent peace. My point is that your reactions will be whatever you are sort of programmed to understand, but your response is your choice, full stop. Own your response and own the mental mastery that you crave. Your peace does not lie in other things. It lies in your recognition of what you want to give power to and beginning to release it. Now, the next stage in this is reframing. Reframing is your superpower in being able to take whatever you experience and move it into whatever you want. It's the alchemy of turning lead to gold. And you all are alchemists. What we teach here, for you at home and for you here, is that we are alchemists. We are powerful alchemists. We can change things in our hearts and minds in an instant with our choice. It's not easy, but it's doable. Why do I show grapes up here? Because vintners know the secret to this. And the secret is that if a vine gets everything it wants, all the food and water it can possibly manage at any one time, you know what happens to that vine? It turns out to be weak. It turns out that the grapes it produces are flat and flavorless and mushy. Because getting everything you want is not your secret to being the best person you can be, not your secret to growth, to your peace, to finding love. So what do? They purposefully starve the vine half the time, give it no food or water. And how does the vine react? It responds by not thinking, oh no, this is terrible, what's going to happen? It digs its roots deep into the earth. And what happens from that is it gets very strong, muscular, mighty. And it pulls up nutrients that it can't find at the surface into that grape and makes the grape power-packed and flavorful and amazing. And that's how they make great wine, by challenging the vine. And what the vine does is reframe the challenge as not, oh no, what's going to happen? From the quote that Suzanne read, not why me, but what's to learn here? Because we all have challenges. Just take a look around the room for a minute. Just look at all the people. None of us are without challenges. None of us are without difficulties. Some a little more than others, but it doesn't matter. It's all on grades. Whatever your challenge is not meant to beat you down. It's meant to lift you up. It's meant to encourage you. It's meant to love you. That's the love of the universe coming through you to rise to the occasion. As Justin said so beautifully, as the others were shouting hate, their group was singing about love. And there's nothing more powerful than singing about love in the face of hate. That will eradicate it all. That's how you do it. You frame that beautifully as we are for love. And that's the power of the sun. Hate is but a candle compared to that power of the sun of love. So knowing that adversity introduces you to yourself, wouldn't you want to frame these as not, oh no, but okay, what am I going to learn? What's here for me to learn? That is called mental mastery. This is what Ernest Holmes was talking about when he talked about how your thoughts create things. He carefully put in there, choose your thoughts. Not from a sense of guarding or blocking. That creates tension and disease. But a sense of acknowledging, recognizing, and panning for gold. What am I going to learn here? What do I want to let go? So here's a little mental model. I want to work through this with you. I want you to look at the center circle and imagine your own worst possible fear. What are you most afraid of? What challenges you the most right now? And on the outside of the circle, place mentally your biggest blessings, your 4 biggest blessings, okay? So your 4 biggest blessings, whatever they are, they can be broad strokes: family, friends, food, festivity, CSL-Tacoma. Stare at that circle right now in the center and your biggest fear. Give it about 5 seconds. Imagine your biggest fear right there. How does that make you feel right now? Does anyone want to share? Small. What else? What? Stuck. Did someone over here say something? Shaky. I know sometimes I feel nauseous. I've heard other people say they feel weak, tired, beleaguered, helpless, anxious. Now we're going to try something else right now. Put your biggest blessing into the center of that circle right now and put that fear in its proper place in one of the peripheral circles. Imagine your biggest blessing in the center right now and stare at it for about 5 seconds. Just feel it, imagine it. How do you feel right now? At peace. What else? Joyful. What else? Expansive. Great word. This is the reality in which we live. We only have clear definition of immediately what's right in front of us at any given time. And what this is a tool for you to understand how you can replace that thing which is dominating your attention, which may have you feel threatened or afraid or worried or concerned, because it does, because we're human, we're all human, and somehow that dominates us, right? And be able to place it in its appropriate place in the periphery, which doesn't mean I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to deal with it. I had to deal with a brain tumor. You all have to deal with tough stuff. But we don't let it take the centerpiece. We consciously put in what we want in the center, because between those two diagrams, nothing changed in your life at all. You changed effectively. Do you feel how that happened? That is your superpower right there. That's what you hold to be true, is I can consciously shift that to the outside, whatever it is. I'll still look at it. And here's the other cool thing. If you look at that center, words in the middle, you can't read the words on the outside while you stare at the middle. It means you can't see them clearly. They're just kind of there, unless you pay attention to them, which you're going to. But you're going to let the dominant part of your focus be the good thing that you want to see, because that is your ability. So think of this tool when you're stuck and you're caught in something, and you draw it out in a circle like this, and you place it in its proper place. Did you know that about 75% of your life is good? I think I did this before. That means give it 75% of your time. Do the math, right? Do the math. We're going to also reframe vulnerability. Vulnerability is so strong and beautiful. I think we heard Doug Taylor talk about vulnerability a couple months ago. I show a batter here because it's the same kind of metaphor that works out when you're in the batter's box. If I step in the batter's box, if I lean in to hit, I am technically more vulnerable to be hit by a pitch. If I'm being careful, defended, I'm going to draw back in that batter's box and sit back like this carefully. Might I get hit a bit less in this position? Yes. But how good of a hitter am I? How much am I living? What is the purpose of life? If I'm trying to get through, trying to be hurt as little as possible until I'm dead, what's the point? If I step in, how strong am I? Might I get hit a little bit more? Yes. But from here, I can connect and hit a home run. I am mighty from this position. So think about vulnerability and being open when you're connecting with people after service, in your life, being real with them, saying, how are you? This is where I am. This is what I'm going through. And from that, you can choose what you want, and you are stronger because they'll connect with you too. After I had my brain tumor removed and had half a face and was coaching doctors, especially in the beginning, physicians are they work hard. It's tiring work. They have to heal so many people in a day, and they hurt, but they can't show it. When I got in a room with them alone, and I had a vulnerability and was honest about it, almost to a person, they wept. They wept in front of me. Why? Because they felt safe to acknowledge their own vulnerable and hurt. And what it did was it freed them and gave them a choice to see it, to feel it, to touch it, and to release it. That's your power, to recognize it, and then reframe. What we did is reframe it. You're a healer. You're good. You're wonderful. Sweet peace. So weakness is really staying defended or defensive, stuck in cynical thinking, which happens to us all, right? Not reaching out or getting help, not connecting with others, complaining and being judgmental. All these are weak positions, because what I'm doing is defending and shrinking. What the other thing I'm doing is in strength. I'm being open and vulnerable. I'm seeing life and others with wonder. I'm reaching out and I'm connecting. I'm getting and receiving help. I'm remaining curious and present. Everybody take a deep breath again. Isn't that the world we want to create that works for everyone? This is it. This is the strength. This is what you're doing by being here. This is what we are collectively creating in the presence of love together. You, each of us, making a world that's better for us all. And that is strength. That is power. We call it muscular compassion. We call it mighty. We call it Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Cesar Chavez. We call it whatever we want. We call it Rosa Parks. We call it whatever your heroes are. We call it Jack for the way he showed up at Pride. That is strength. That is mighty. And that is being a mighty warrior for love in peace. And make no mistake about it, I'm not just saying words here. I'm espousing a truth that is flowing directly from source to you, that you are those powerful warriors in love, all of you. Go fearlessly out there and create this world together. That's what we can do. That's exciting. What would you rather be doing? I can't imagine anything else. So I'm going to tell a little story about my son. And how he didn't clean his room. No, I'm just kidding. It's not about that at all. So last week, CJ Max and I went on a river rafting trip in the wilds of Idaho. 3 days unplugged out there, no electricity, nothing, just the water and the camping and a group of about 30 people in community. And it was exquisite, much like you shared, Suzanne. It was beauty. It was bighorn sheep, and it was eagles, and it was all of us together in community, loving the water and each other purely. And my son Max did something that struck us all as pretty incredible. So they have something they call, the river guides called the paddle challenge. So one night we were all at camp and we're hanging out, and they described the paddle challenge. It's where you take a paddle and you do this funky thing here, and you can't let go of it, and you step over it, and you step around it, and your body becomes a pretzel, and you move around it, and you end up, and you pull it, and you don't let go, but it's in your hands, forward, facing palm up. It's phenomenal. I can't even fathom how they did it. But several of them could do it, several people couldn't. And the ones that could, everybody's like, yay! And the ones that couldn't, which were most of us, stepped down after 3 tries. And then there was Max. Max tried to do it the first time and couldn't. He tried to do it the second time and couldn't. He tried to do it the 5th time, the 7th time, the 10th time, the 15th time, the 20th time, the 25th time. And the whole time, he was just staying with it and laughing. Now, his mom and I had to go get something real quick while they were out doing this, and they were all watching around, and we went up the trail a little bit to our tent, and we turned around as we started to come back, and we heard the whole group erupt in a, wow! Oh! Applause and everything else. And we come back, and everyone is around Max and talking to us and going, that was amazing. Your son just conquered the paddle challenge. Now, what's amazing about that is he did the recognize and reframe perfectly. It was the persistence without the tension. It was the belief with a sense of humor. It was holding both in perfect balance to say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And I'm not going to grasp at it or be tense at it or try to prove something, or I don't have to show anybody I can do it. I just want to do it because I think it's fun. And every person in that camp came up and said, That was one of the most special moments on this entire trip. And I looked at him and I thought, that's how we all should be. About whatever challenges, things we're facing, that kind of easy, gentle, kind persistence and love that is without end. It's the sun. It's the sun burning eternal and brightly and warm for us all to make a better world. Just through that persistence. So Max, I wanted to tell you that really, really moved us all. And you should be very proud of that. Because that is recognizing, he saw it, I can't do it. But I'm okay with that. And reframing, I think I can. Like Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And he believed he could. And that was just stunning. So embrace your challenges, right? They're a source of energy for you. They're here to fuel you. They're here to lift you up. They're here to give you a sense of purpose, passion, and persistence that lets you be better than you thought you ever could. Thank God for the challenges. Can we all just raise our hand and say, thank God for my challenges? And I embrace them as a source of energy. Because that's where we can truly say it's all good. All good doesn't mean all perfectly pleasant and rainbows and unicorns. All good means it's all for your absolute good, literally and figuratively. Because that's where you find out what your purpose on earth is. We're not here just to get stuff or have stuff. We're here to be something that's astounding. And that, again, is what you're doing right here. So Ernest Holmes said it great. Life is a mirror. And we reflect back to the thinker what they think into it. Life is a mirror, and it's going to reflect back what you think into it. So it's not about shame and feeling bad if you have a bad thought. So what? You had a bad thought. Let it come up. Let it go. Let the judgment come up. Let it go. Recognize. Release. Reframe it. How do I want to see this person differently? How can I see them in a compassionate way? How can I understand them more beautifully? How can I get unstuck from hate, aggression, greed? Take a deep breath. How can I become the love from whence I was born? That's what we're gearing toward. Remember, the remember part is practice does not make perfect. The practice is perfect. I believe I came up with a quote, but probably not. So I didn't put my name by it, because in my whole of my life, my one goal is to come up with one original thought before I die. Just one. Not asking for much. But this is something I use all the time, and it's practice is perfect. The practice of this, in and of itself, is the perfection of you as a human being, is leading into what we were intended to be the love and be the change that we wish to see in the world. So, what are you going to commit to today? What do you want to understand about yourself, to understand how you can recognize what's rising? Pan for the gold with it. Reframe it in a way that's going to be most beneficial for you and our entire planet. And then remember why you were born unto this earth. Remember why you're here, to love, serve, and be the change that you wish to see in the world. And as you go out today, know that it's all good, all for your greater good, and all for us to make a world that's beautiful, more beautiful than you can possibly imagine. That's the Garden of Eden. Bless you.
There's a change in the weather, but the day stays the same. So I pick up this old damn guitar and I'll how to play. The leaves have all fallen, but you never came home. So I'll think it, I'll feel it, I'll sing it, then I'll leave it alone. Cause if you don't want me, and I don't want you, some are meant to stay, and some are meant to lose. Some will walk away, and they may find another heart to break. I remember those nights. I can still smell your color. Now you're out there somewhere with someone, not sleeping alone. I'm empty inside. I'm a walk in the wild. So I'll write it, I'll fold it, I'll throw it on into the fire. 'Cause if you don't want me, then I don't want you. Some are meant to stay, and some are meant to lose. Some will walk away, and they may find another heart to break, to break. Paper to ashes, flames in my eyes, burning and smoldering, circling into the sky. Higher and higher, down to the light. Blazing inferno is fading on into the night. The leaves have all fallen, but you never came home. So I'll think it, I'll feel it, I'll sing it, and then I'll make it a song. 'Cause if you don't want me, then I don't want you. Some are meant to stay, and some are meant to lose. Some will walk away, and they may find another heart to break. If you don't want me, and I don't want you, I'm begging you to stay. 'Cause some are meant to use, some will walk away, and they may find another heart to break, to break. If you 'cause always you refused, and so you got away, and you may find another heart to break. To break, to break.
Thank you. I'm doing. So now it's time for our love offering. If the ushers would like to come forward and join me in, if you'd like, join me in saying our offertory blessing. It's on the screen, I think. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is. And so now, once again, if you choose to close your eyes. What a beautiful message today. how lovely it is to have it pointed out that whatever it is that our mind and our thoughts are doing, at any moment we have the opportunity to choose the good ones. That's a real challenge. Choose the good ones. In amongst all of the dandelions, roses grow, you know. Actually, dandelions are beautiful in their own right. I never pull them up. I leave them for the bees. But just know that wherever you are this week, everything's really okay. Choose the good ones. During the week, bless yourself as you bless others. Bless the checker in the store with a smile. Give some little kid you know a squeeze. Tell somebody you love them, someone you haven't seen in a while. Make that phone call just to say that. It doesn't just heal them, it heals you. It's a lovely thing. So I just say thank you. Thank you once again, Sweet Spirit. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the message today, the music, the lovely music, all the beautiful musicians that came today. I'm so grateful for each one of you making it all the way it is. So I just say thank you. Thank you, God, and so it is. And so now thanks so much for being here today. There will be Bev and I will be in the back for prayer if you'd like prayer after the service. Just so let's now just please stand as you can for the song, I Release and I Let Go.